Hello there and welcome to Why You Should, and today we will discuss programming. Yes, code, writing code. Oh my god, writing code is so awesome. And I'm going to tell you what prompted me to speak about this. I haven't written code in a very long amount of time, and during my lovely stay in the army, where I was a programmer, not a fighter, I did hold a gun eventually at some points when you have guard duty, but basically I wrote code all day long. I found out that I like writing words more than I do writing code, which sounds bombastic. Not really, it's just a fact that I do enjoy writing words more than I do writing code. But I got into writing code because I found it really, really interesting. And I haven't done it in a very long time, and now I'm getting into Unity, which is a game engine, which has coding in it. And you have to code, you have to write code. And I got back to it, and oh my god, is it so fun and amazing. And I just wanted to discuss this because this is why I got into coding. This is why I got into programming and why I enjoyed it so much. The basic premise is very simple once you get it. I mean, there isn't too much to learn, but you're basically given a set of tools, and with those set of tools, you could do anything. You could do absolutely anything. It's so remarkable and so interesting. You just use your brain. You don't have to have a ton of knowledge, and you just experiment, and you could get to wondrous results. And that's what really connected me to code so much. A lot of people say that you need to know a lot of math. It's not really math. It's more about the logic. It's very logical. And it is absolute, okay? It is what you put in, what you write, that's what's going to come out. And obviously, if you write a lot of code, some of it will be wrong. And you have to test things. And you have to debug things. But this is a wondrous process. And eventually, when you click play, or when you click build, or whatever it may be, and it works, that is such an amazing feeling. And you can gain so much from knowing how to code. So the Why You Should today is basically go learn code. But let's talk about this a little bit more. And I want to try and convey why I think it's so incredible. The basic things that you have in code, and we're just going to go down to the bare basics and why it's really kind of simple. You have some basic structures that do things, and with those, you could do absolutely anything. And what am I talking about? You have variables, which means that I'm taking something and I'm giving it meaning. I'm taking a place in the memory and I'm giving it meaning. So I say x is now an integer. An integer is a number, is a whole number. So now x is an integer, so I can put 5 into it, which is a number, or I can put 2 into it, or whatever the hell I want to. So you have variables of varying types, such as a string, which is a string of characters, which is a couple of characters that have meaning, obviously. You can write whatever you want into them. And those are the basic variables that you have. Alongside those, you have the basic structures that form the logic behind your program, which might be the if structure. If is just if, this and that, then this and that, else this and that. Okay? If x is greater than y, then write yay. Else, write boo. Okay? Very, very simple to understand. It is incredibly simple to understand what an if statement is. Okay? Obviously, you can get super complex with it, but that's the basics. The other thing is a for loop. Okay? It doesn't have to be for, there's a couple of types of loops, but basically what a loop does is run the same length of code several times. Okay, so I want to do, I want to take this number, I want to take x, and add 1 to it. And I want to do this 10 times. So I'll build a loop, and I'll tell the loop, do it 10 times, and it adds 1 to x 10 times. That's a loop. And those two are basically it. Okay, obviously there's a ton more, but that's basically it. That's basically code I just explained to you. And you kind of understood it because there isn't much to understand. Now, it doesn't mean you know how to write it down. That's the syntax. And it differs from programming language to programming language, but that's not the important part. The important part is that you understand the logic behind it. And with that logic, you can build systems that do anything. Anything. Okay? And that's how basic stuff that's how any application on your phone is built, any game is built, any internet website is built with that basic code, and obviously a ton of other things, but that's the start. That's the basic of it. Coding is logical. It's awesome. There's always need for more coders. You could do amazing things on your own without any help from anyone else. Obviously, you need a little bit of help in terms of graphics, let's say, and depending on what you want to build, what kind of program. But even just for the sake of understanding it and expanding your mind, trying to understand how this machine that everybody uses all the time, because you use your phone and you use your computer all day long, obviously, understanding just a little bit of how it works, how the basics work, can enrich your entire experience in life. The logic behind everything, it's such an interesting thing, and what really prompted me to do this is that I'm learning obviously new things about Unity, the game engine, and programming different things. But there was, in one of the examples online, there was a system, a word that means something, has meaning that I'd never seen before. And I wanted to understand what the hell that means. So I went online and checked, obviously, the reference for that word and what does it mean. And once it clicked, because I read the sentence. It's actually open right here before me. I read it, and I didn't understand it. And then I looked at the example, and I didn't understand it. And I read it again, and I didn't understand it. And I read it really slowly a third time, and it clicked. And that is so cool. I understood what it does, and what it does is really cool. It's really awesome, and allows you to do all kinds of weird things. And if you're a programmer and you want to know exactly what I'm talking about, obviously non-programmers will have a difficult time understanding this, but I'm talking about the yield keyword in C#. The yield keyword in C#, which allows me to stop in a certain place in a function and then get back to it later on. Which sounds very abstract right now, but it's really cool, and I haven't heard of the yield. I haven't heard of that system before. So that was, once it clicked, it was really cool of how it works. And that just rekindled that flame of, oh my god, programming is so cool. And the original reason why I got into coding and why I got into programming, because it's so interesting and awesome. So if you want to learn code, I don't have to tell you, I don't even have to put the links down, because there are so many online, bare minimum scratch, you don't need to know nothing, tutorials online. There are a million of them. There's so many. I don't even know the names of the goddamn, there's the Code Academy, and there's the Code Initiative, and there's some of these might not be true, but there's so many resources online to learn coding. You just have to learn code online, learn coding online, learn programming online, and you will find so many wonderful tutorials that really, from the bare minimum, they expect nothing of you. And you can start actually coding very quickly, because the basics are so simple, like I just explained, and then make wondrous, amazing things. So coding is awesome, and even if that world doesn't entirely speak to you, try it, because it's probably very different from what you think. And a lot of people think, no, this is weird, I don't know math, I don't know, it's so logic weird. And no, it's really, really simple. The basics are really simple. The levels of complexity you can get with it are astounding. But it's easy to learn, hard to master, as far as I'm concerned, in terms of code. One of the reasons why I love it. I love things that are easy to learn, hard to master, such as Defense of the Dota, the game that I love playing. It's exactly that. So, go learn code, because code is awesome. I'm going to go back to Unity and try and make my character double jump. I actually did that already, but let's go for triple jump. And yes, interesting coding things. Go learn code. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.